You are welcome to class today. Yesterday we are trying to handle some important aspects of SQ. I discovered that I jumped some steps and I need to take it gradual so that you don't miss out. So I'm going to start a series that will help us to understand better what SQL and dissertation is all about. So basically what we are going to learn today will be the data querying language, the DQL, the data querying language, the DQL. So we're going to learn how to, let us write it, the data querying language, DQL. So the essence of learning this is for you to be able to know how to manipulate this data in an SQL environment. Yesterday I was talking about select, from where clause, among others, and somebody that is not conversant with SQL will get lost in the pool of these terminologies. Because of that, we have decided to do what? To bring it down to an understandable level. So remember yesterday when we have written this, the system is seeing it as a code. That is why you are seeing this data on blue, language on blue. I mean, these are some of the options that the system, or sacrosanct wordings that the system tends to obey. But when you want to use it as just a write-off or reminder, you come here and you just click on it. It will give you this green background write-up, but it's showing the system that is not supposed to use for query. So what are we learning? We want to know what select means. Want to learn what from means. We also want to know what we use, when we use where. Want to also know it. Then there's another one we call group by. So having, we have order by. So these are all functions in an Excel, in SQL, which are important for our operation. So we need to know what they means, and you see, they also know what a syntax is and how to use it. So all these are important um, things we need to know, and for us to actually work with it, we have to comment it, since we are not running a code with it, but we are using the table. So how do you comment? Like what we just did the last time. You come to this point and you just click on it. It is commented, so you can now be able to work on them. So also the select, also comment on the select too. Okay, I do this on that. So when we use select, we are trying to pick and create the columns to be printed out. We try to pick and create a column to be printed out. Remember, okay, let's define. We'll see how to take this into our main work, and we'll see how to apply each of them. Then the next one is from. So this from, it specifies the location. The specified location or the table. Remember, we have been talking about table, column. It can be table, it can be tables, as the case may be. So it's specifying the tables where the data is. So that is why when whatever we want to select, after selecting, we will tell us where are we selecting from. It is very, very important. That is the first step in relationship. So we also have the where clause, and the where clause is just used. It's just a filtering mechanism. It is used for filtering. In filtering, and the filtering is for rows. When you are filtering, you may have a lot of phenomenon, a lot of um um what do you call it now, columns, for instance, but you are not interested in all the columns. So for you to pick the column of relevance, for you to pick the column of importance, then you need to use the where to filter and pick what you want to work on, so it makes your work easier and not cumbersome or clumsy. Then the next one is group by. So for group by, we use it to identify use it to identify or arrange identical data into group with aggregate function. So when we start to deal with aggregate function, we are no more looking at just where. Now this where is a filtering mechanism, but for individual table. This group now is more larger, it is more elaborate. So use for arranging identical data into groups along with aggregate functions. Aggregate functions. So we're also having another filter for larger data. We will call it having. So in having, we use it for filtering groups, other ones for table, but this is used for filtering groups. And when we go there, it has some little rules, which when you observe them, you will not have much challenge. Then ordered by is sorry, trying to Okay. So by ordering, you are trying to sort. So it's a kind of a filtering or sorting. So we use it for sorting. You can either sort in ascending order, or we can sort by descending order. When we sort by ascending order, it means we are sorting from the least numerous, from the least value up to the highest or the largest value. And when you are sorting and it is descending, it means you are sorting from the largest, from the highest value to the least value. So it becomes a systematic apply of um, semantic apply of um, what do you call it now? These functions to get your work the way you want it to be. So we're going to look at some important terminologies, and the first one is the select statement. This select statement, the first one that we have here, we're going to see if we can try it out. So when we bring out the select statement, like I said previously, select. So you pick and create a column to be printed out with select. So this is our data, our server. So we can open it up. See, it has a plus and inside the square, showing that it has a lot of things embedded inside. So as you continue to click on it, you continue to see more items coming out. Our database security, among other, but we're interested in our databases. And when we open database, we'll have Adventure Works 2022, Adventure Work Data Warehouse 2022, Adventure Works Lite 2022. And this data adventure was, we were the one that brought it into the system. And I think I promised to make a video that will guide us. In case you have an issue, you can always look at this video and also bring back your server to standard, or to be, if it happens to have an issue. So when you want to use a select statement, we're looking at for instance, human resource employee. So we'll go to the Adventure Work 2022, the normal one, and we're going to what human resource employee. We want to use it to test our select statement. You can see the human resource employee in the column segment have some important columns. One of them is the primary key. Now this primary key is a relationship device within a given table that gives it, that connects it with other tables, so that we can be able to chat, or can be able to join different other tables together to have better insight. That is where data analytics and data science come into being. So when you see select, before you select, when you look at the table by my left hand side, you see that business entity ID is the primary key. That is why you see PK in its front. Then it is also a secondary key. It can be a secondary key. That means it is also found somewhere. And now the quality of this is, the type of data is an integer, and this data is not null. Not null means that the that data should not have an empty space. It should not have an empty space. It's an ID. An ID is a unique number to a given row. It is always unique. So we also have other important um, columns there, and the type of data that they are operating. National ID number is a numerical um, variable, that is n, var, and character. So numerable, um, variable that has character, and those character of number is no more than 15. That is the space. When we are creating database or creating a database, we will apply all this to your database. That means you are trying to code or give a condition in which a particular data or a table can be set, and you say it is not null. We also have login ID, and you see the character is no more than 256, and it's not null. We have organizational node. It is a hierarchical kind of arrangement, and it's possible to admit null. That means empty spaces can be found inside. Now how organizational level, it is computed, and it is small integer, very small number, and it has null. That means you can also see empty spaces. Job title 50 character, it is not null. That means every job title must be specified. Birth date, it is a date function, and it's not null. Marital status is a non which is number character is 1, so it is either a male or a female, M or F, and it is not null. Somebody must either be a male or a female. For married or not married, sorry. For gender, it's either a male or not. Just some of the same characteristics. Higher date, you see, it's a date function, it's not null. Now have salary flag. For salary flag, you are talking about flag, whether it is salary or non-salary. Vacation hour is a small integer, and it is not supposed to be empty. Sick leave hour, small integer, not supposed to be empty. This is how we create data, the database, and from there we begin to work. So what are we selecting? Because we want to see how select function or statement works. So when you want to select from this um, employee table, human resource employee table, which has columns of this order, we'll now come and write select. After selecting, the next thing we do is we can come down, or we can decide to continue from there. We'll give a space there. Business entity ID, that is the primary key, should always be added. The primary key should always be there because that is the major key that must be there. So you come here, you click on this and do Control C. What we do that is we don't want to make any mistake in the writing, because when you want to write it yourself you may make mistake. So it's better you copy it and you come and you place. Alternatively too, you may use the IntelliSense. As you type, IntelliSense will come up. Let's see if it will come up on this. We want to remove business, right? See, the intelligence is coming up, and I can write business if there's any mistake it will stop. Using and entity ID. So you can do that, but the problem is that there's a possibility that your spelling may not be correct, and if that is so, you may likely have a lot of challenge. So to avoid such challenge, you come here, you copy it, and you come over and replace it. Then you now put your comma. After you put your comma, you go to the next item. Want to select is the organization level. So we'll come to organization level, and you now click it and do Control C, and you put it up. Put up your comma. The next thing we are going to pick there is the birth date, date of birth. You come here and you look for birth date and do your Control C and you place it and you do Control V. We are still going to pick the job title. So we'll go to job title and we'll pick up the job title and we'll place it here. Then the next thing again we need to put is the gender and the hire date. So you look for the gender and you place it. Then you look for the hire date, you copy it and you put your hire date. So this is what you want to select. Now after you have done that, the next thing you are going to do is from I say specify the location or the table where the data is. So we'll come here and we'll write from. As a convention, we'll use capital letter. Since it's a statement that is used for analysis, it will come up blue. And now which table? It's not asking you which table or which location, and you see the table here is human resource table. Well, that is where these ones are coming from. So I will now click on the table and copy it and come here and place it. So once that is done, you see that all the red line that is showing that I have an issue has all disappeared. So you can also make your work better and cut it. You can cut it from here if you so wish. Make it look more professional to show that you know what you are doing. Do this. So you can now run this. Because it is only one selected here, it will still run because these ones are all commented out. So I will come here, I will now put execute. And once I have done the execute, you can now see that this check so that your query has been done successfully. Your server, the database are all taken care. The database network attention works is shown, the time it was used to run it, and the number of row that was captured are all there. And when you look at it again, see that we'll have this is number from the Siri. It has nothing to do with whatever we have picked. But you see, we picked business ID, entity number, ID first, followed by organizational level, followed by birth date. You see, it is coming the way it is arranged. If you change this position, these two will change. You see gender, see hire date. So this is how you can do your select. This is how you can do your select. We can also do another select again. We can either choose to do it here, or we can choose to do it in another place. So let's do it here so that you can be able to do such. If you want to use one place to do this work, you can also do it, or you want to use more than one of the, just like a book or a page. So let's go again. We're looking at how to use select statement. So write another select, and the select, now what are we selecting? We are selecting from production product table. So we'll close this and we'll go to production product, this production product. Let's go up a bit. We'll open the production product table. You can see our columns for production product table. Always look at the primary key. The primary key is always dark in nature and it is showing you the major key for this table that you can use to join with other tables. Then you have the primary key. It is an integer and it is not null, so it's the same idea that we are using. Then we have other foreign keys. One of them is size unit major code. It's a foreign key. That is why you are seeing FK. You can also have weight unit major code. It's also a foreign key, FK. Remember what I discussed last time? I said that you can have a bunch of keys that can give you access to your car. That means your car key, and you also have the key to your house. Maybe if you have an office, you also have a key to the office. All of them are in one bunch. Now, when you are in the office, for instance, the key that becomes the primary key or the essential key there is the key of the office. You cannot use the key of the car to open the vehicle, the office. Neither can you use the key of the house except on rare occasion. But in that bunch, at that location, your office key is the primary key. Now, your car key that is in that bunch and your house key that is also in that bunch are foreign keys. They are also important, but for that particular location or that particular area of assignment, it is the office key. And when you go out to start your car and you are holding the same bunch of key, your car key becomes the primary key. It is the most essential key at that particular point on that location. Even though your office key is important and your house key is important, but it's the car key that is of essence. That is what the idea that we are having here. So let's continue. So for this, we are going to pick the product ID. I told you always pick the primary keys first. It's very, very critical. It defines what we do. So you put it there, you put a comma. You can also raise this one then so that I can go up by coming to this place. We have taken product ID. Next one, you take name, go down, look for the name, and you copy the name, and you come here and you place it. The next thing we are going to take is the color of our product. You come to color, copy the color. Then the next thing again you're going to take the standard cost followed by days to manufacture. You go to the standard cost. Where is my standard cost? Here is it. Copy it. You put your comma. Then you go to days to manufacture. The question is, why are you picking what you are picking? It depends on what you want to see. It's at your discretion. Product line, class and style. Product line, Control V, then class, Control C, Control V, class and style. Class and style. Still come down. So these are enough for this. So if we have done that, the next question is, where are you from? So you now bring the from statement. And of course we are taking it from where? The production product. So you click and you copy it, and you come here and you place it. So once you have done that, you see that those red line will clear off. So we have selected, we didn't select everything. If we selected everything, we just put asterisk and everything will come out we are becoming more technical and more tactical, so we pick what we want. Our ability to pick what we want is very, very important. So if you have this now, for instance, and you want to run, and if this is what you want to see, then you have to now do what? You come here and highlight it. When you highlight it, then you now go and do what? Execute. So execute, you see that it is what you have highlighted that is executed. If not, everything will show and it will make your work clumsy. So you are in control of your work. So you see, we have product ID, we have name, we have color. See, some colors are null, that means no color, blank. We have standard cost, we have days to manufacture, we have product line, class, and style. So you see, this is how we're able to see how our select statement has been working. So if you be able to put it, you can try as many as you can and see what it will give you, and see what will give you. So we'll try one more of this, and then we'll go to something else. So I can decide to maybe, okay, let's still continue with this. So I'll come down and press another select. So select, you have not seen, is the statement you use to bring in selected data into the SQL environment. So now we are going to go to another table, and this table now is sales order detail. So we'll go for sales order detail. So we can come and close this table and go to sales. Under sales, you're looking for sales order detail. This is the table here. We open it up, open the column. This is what we are going to do. And now when you look at this sales order detail, you see that it has two primary key. That means the two primary key are of importance to it. But when you look at the key, the sales order ID and the sales order detail ID are two important primary key. Why the first one is the primary key, is also a foreign key. It's an integer and it is not null. Why the sales order detail is a primary key, integer, and not null. So you can see we also have foreign key. Product ID is a foreign key, and special offer ID is also a foreign key. Then you have other tables, other columns that are there, like the carrier tracking number, and it is specify how it will look like. It has room for null. Order quantity is a small integer, it's not null. Unit price is money. So if it's money, the system will know how to calculate it. Unit price discount is also money, not null. Line total is completed and it's numeric, and you see the value. Raw grid is a unique identifier and it's not null. So having said that, we'll now go to pick one or two things here. So the first thing you do is select the sales order ID. Select sales order ID. So select, come down, sales order ID, which is the primary key. You bring it up. The next thing you do, you also select the sales order detail ID, the other primary key too. Select it, sales order detail ID. Then the next thing you select is the order quantity. Order quantity, you select it. Then you select the unit price and the line total. select the unit price, the line total. Unit price, then the line total. So, okay. So, the next thing is to write our from statement. The front statement to tell us what table are we using, and the table is sales order detail. Copy it and put it there. Now you fall short, or you fall into problem when you are picking a different table for what you have, for the columns you are choosing. Discover that your work will not run, it will full of red and it will not give you any answer. That is why you need to specify this step by step. So if you have done that, you can now come and highlight your select statement up to this, so they can able to run and execute. So when we execute, you see that we have been able to run it. Sales order ID is there, almost the same number. Sales order detail ID is there, the order quantity is there, the unit price and the line total have all been specified, and you use 0. Very micro of a seconds, and pick a total number of row 121,317 row, and it shows that our work was executed successfully. So this is how you can be able to actually use the select statement. Now you can also go ahead and do what, and look at select all statement. So when you want to do that, you can so I can write select all statement, and then we are going to comment on it. So I can comment on it, and now see if we can be able to pick something that we can select all. So in selecting all, the idea is to pick everything that is in the table. We're not selecting, picking one by one, we just select everything that is in the table and we'll see it for a view. And let's do something here. You come here, you write select, and you're selecting all. So how do you select all? You shift and the asterisk telling you are picking all. Then the next thing is from where are you picking all. So let's look at sales order header. So go to sales order header. So close this. This sales order header. Just click on it and copy it. Put it here. So this is what we want to run. So we highlight it and we execute. We want to see everything, every column that is in this table sales order, and now this is it. You can see that everything from sales order ID, the revision number, order date, due date, ship date. You can continue to scroll. Status, online order flag, whether you are selling online or not, sales order number, product order number. You can see every information about this particular table is displayed. The reason is that we did not select anything specific, we just selected everything. So that is the function of select all. When you select all, everything is captured. Everything is captured in the analysis. So I hope you have been able to understand that. So now let's go for a new query. You can decide to save this, save your work. You come to the file and go to, you can save all that you have done, or you can just save the one you just finished. So let's go back. So when we finish, you can just save all, and when you save all, you can see all the work that I have done saved. So we can leave it for now. We'll do that later. So we'll just open a new query. So when you open a new query, give you a new sheet. So we want to look at how to print out top number or top n records. So printing out top n records. So what do we mean by that? We mean that we can also be able to, within our given table, we can do some manipulation to print out top values, selected number, through we can find a way to pick high ranking values. Maybe you want to see the first 5 performing products, or the first 5 performing sales manager, or the first 5 high productive material, or the sales, anything you want that you want to rate, you can do that given this idea. So what do? You come and write select. Select statement is very key, but you want to select, for instance, the top 100, the top 100 um, um, product within a given table. So, but when you want to use product, we are looking at purchasing product vendor. We are looking at the performance of the vendors within our confine. So we go to the purchasing product vendor under P, purchasing product vendor. We open it up and open the column. This is where we want to work at. So we'll pick the purchase order ID as the first thing to do. The purchase order ID. We'll start with product ID, the primary key. Now let's forget that. Start with our primary key and you put your comma. The next thing you're going to do, you look at, there's another primary key again, you pick it again. As long as a primary key, don't leave anyone behind. Don't leave anyone behind as long as it's a primary key. After picking the primary keys, you pick the average lead time. Pick the average lead time. After picking the average, you look at your standard price. Pick it to standard price. Then after you have picked your standard price, you look at your last received cost and your last receipt date. Your last received cost, and also look at your last receipt date. So having done that, you want to see select the top 100, and you now do what? So you are looking at this top 100, and where are you selecting it from purchasing product vendor, from purchasing product vendor. So you go to your table, and now remember, when you are writing this, before you get to the from, I've been putting comma. I don't put comma on the last before I go to the from, because when you put comma there, you will not get anything. We are going to see it later. So we are taking our from the table's name. I will bring it up. Let me just put something here to show you what I'm saying. Put a comma here. You see, it will raise up an incorrect syntax here. You're not supposed to put a comma there. So you remove it, and the syntax will go. So you will now execute. So what he has given you is what you can see, it 100 rows. That is what you want to select. So you're able to call up 100 row, and what you want to call out there will include both the product ID, business entity ID, average lead time, standard price, last receipt. I also look at how these things are written. They are joined together. That is how it's good to copy it direct, so that you don't make any mistake in the write-up. Even though in SQL, the character, whether it is a large or small, does not matter, but by convention it's always good to put it well. It will show that you have some level of professionalism in what you are doing. So we're able to pick our top 100. We're able to pick our top 100. So we can also look at something. We can go and look at the printing of top n% value. Printing of top n% value. I think that is the last work we are going to do today. Then we'll continue by Tuesday to explore our SQL table. So, you come down again, you put your select statement. You select, what are you selecting now? We are selecting top 25%. You write it in what? Top 25%. And we are taking a one from purchase order header. So we are closing this. I'll look for purchase order header, and we'll open it up and open the column. So remember, when we want to pick anything, we always start with the primary key, and the primary key is purchase order header. It's a primary key, it's an integer, and it is not null. So when you click on Control C, you pick it and you bring it and you place it here, you put your comma. The next thing you are going to pick there is the revision number. So you pick the revision number, you copy it, you put it there, you put your comma, then you go again, you take your order date, put your comma. The next thing is subtotal, tax amount, subtotal. So you look for subtotal, Then you pick tax amount. I'll come down a bit. Subtotal tax amount total due. Total due. Then we'll now look at our table. From our table, purchasing the purchase order heading. We just want to see the 25%, the top 25%. So you now go to your form statement and you take it from the table head. So copy it and come and place it. So we can now run it by selecting it. We'll select it. We can now execute. So it's giving you percentage 25, top 25%. That is what we are seeing. And the total is 1003 row. That is where the top 25% are located based on the given criteria that we have adopted.